What's up, YouTube? Kristo here, and I've got my penultimate review from my 12 picks for 2015, fall 2015, I should say. Stay tuned for my next one. It's a big one, something I've been wanting to review for a long time, and definitely the most requested review I've ever had. Something really special. I kind of had an afterthought halfway through my series. You know what? I'll keep that till the end to keep people watching. So stay tuned for that one. But not to take anything away from this great fragrance here, today I'm going to be talking about Diptyque's Eau Mage. Now this is kind of an offshoot of the 34 Boulevard Saint Germain series, which is just two fragrances in a similar shape, similar style bottle. This is the Les Invites, which is like the guests of 34, or the guests of 34 Boulevard Saint Germain. So my interpretation of that is that this is more exclusive or an exclusive higher end fragrance, you know, the guests of or the invited people to 34 Saint Germain. So that's kind of how I look at this one. Also, it was originally released as a limited edition, but has just recently been re-released. But I'll address the re-release a little bit later. I've never seen directly that this was a limited edition, but I heard from the sales assistant at the boutique I bought this from that are directly connected to Diptyque, and she's actually been to Paris a few times to meet with Diptyque people, and she told me that it was a limited edition. Also, it was released in 2011, and by the time I bought this in 2013, it was already like really, really, really rare and hard to find. It wasn't that well liked with Diptyque's kind of more hardcore fans, but I don't think, you know, a year and a half, less than 2 years is enough to really discontinue a fragrance. But definitely has its fans out there. Diptyque, you know, it's a fairly accessible, fairly mainstream niche house that's available in a lot of countries, but it's not as big as Bond or Creed. You know, those are definitely, you know, the biggest and most well-known real niche houses around the world. This one has a lot of very big fans, but a lot of them just weren't really into this fragrance because it is very different than what they usually do. I really like Diptyque, and I really like this one, just for the record. So notes that I get out of this, ambroxan. I get lots and lots and lots of ambroxan. Next to that, though, I get this weird kind of dry tangerine note. Then I get a little bit of gray musk and a little tiny bit of rose. You know, people I know that have tried this or own it, they say they get a lot more rose than I do. I don't. Like, I can pick up a little bit, but they say, not all of them, but, you know, the people that say they get rose out of it, they put it up as like their second note, and I would put it as like fourth by a long ways as well. So maybe, you never know, you might get a bit more rose out of it than I do, but, you know, definitely ambroxan is like the number one player. Now, what does this fragrance remind me of? This is actually one of the hardest kind of analogies I've ever had to do. I quite like doing them. It's kind of interesting and fun to articulate what a fragrance, a smell makes you think of. And this is actually one of the hardest. I think because it is such a weird, unusual combination and overall smell. But basically, it reminds me of like a really dreary, gray, cloudy autumn day. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, totally unexpected, the clouds clear up, the sun comes out, and it's kind of warmer and happier and cheerier. So basically, you get so much of this gray ambroxan musk, and then, you know, there's just this really interesting, warm, dry, orange citrus note that comes out of nowhere. And that's kind of what it reminds to me. So like, it's gray and dreary, but it's got this like kind of warm, happy feeling to it at the same time. And when I first tried this, I hadn't really read much about it because it's just so elusive and was so hard to find. Um, when I first smelled it, I just like, I couldn't picture what it was. Like there was something that instantly drew me to this. And it took me quite a while to realize like, wow, there's a lot of orange citrus in this, which is really strange. Because that's something on paper that would totally put me off. Like if I read the notes, there was like ambroxan and musk, and then tangerine or any orange citrus for that, it would just completely put me off the fragrance. So yeah, quite luckily, I smelled it before I really knew much about it, and I just kind of got obsessed with that weird combination of, you know, gray, dreary, balmy notes mixed with this like warm, dry citrus note. It's just so unique and interesting. So performance on this, longevity is great, I have to say, but the projection is quite minimal, which just makes it a really great, comforting, you know, gray, dreary mood, dreary day feeling. And you put this on, it kind of warms you up a bit and makes you a bit happier. I wore this to bed, I think 2 nights ago in preparation for my review. And I was like, oh, it's been so long since I've worn this because, you know, I don't want to run out because I'm never going to find another bottle of this for the price that I paid at least. And I put some on in preparation for my review, and it's like, oh, this is so nice. It's so warm and comforting to go to bed to, which is what I was doing. So in the morning I woke up, I put my undershirt back on that I was wearing the night before, and instantly I could just smell the kind of warmth and, you know, the weird dry citrus smell that came off of it. It was just really, I don't know, it was really nice. It's just such a nice feeling when it's kind of gray and dreary and cool. Now, season, obviously this is for the fall. Gender, I know I often say unisex, but this one is, like, to me, it's straight up and down unisex. There's nothing sweet, there's nothing skanky, there's nothing candy-like, there's nothing like lumberjack-like. It's just totally straight down the middle. I think anyone who is interested in these notes will probably find something that they like in this. I think it is a really unique fragrance, and it's totally gender neutral without a doubt. Now, price for this, when this one here was originally released in the boutiques before it was inflated for eBay and reselling and whatever, it was about $150 for a 50 mil. It only came in one size, 50, like here, obviously. It was selling on eBay like back in 2014 for like $300 or more, if you could even find it. I saw one gentleman selling vials of it, like 1 mil vials for $20, which would place a single bottle at like $1,000, which is just ridiculous. But people were actually buying them. Then it was re-released, or announced that it would be re-released. It is out now. I don't know much about it. It's still very, very limited. I saw someone from the United States selling a slightly used bottle on Facebook for a very reasonable price. I'm going to wait until it's a little bit more out there before I can make any more judgments on it. But there was a thread on base notes just a couple hours ago. I checked it. Basically stayed the same for a couple weeks because I was doing my research before. And there was one person who had said they had smelled the re-release and had also smelled the original release. And they said they were very, very similar. The only difference they picked up was that the newer one was zestier, fresher. But he said for the most part they were pretty much the same. Obviously I want to try it before I make any kind of judgment, but, that person has a very reputable name. So, I can take a little bit, from what they said. But yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait to try the new packaging or the re-release. It is totally different, the packaging. It's 100 mil. It's a tall cylindrical bottle, green cap. And the glass is like embossed with, like, I don't know, what looks like water or waves or something. Definitely, I prefer the look of this bottle. I've not actually seen it in real person, obviously, but just the pictures. I don't know, it just doesn't look as nice. I really like this bottle. I think it looks better than the other 34 Boulevard St. Germain's. I think this one definitely is nicer looking. So yeah, I can't wait to try it. So for this one, positive sides, I think it's totally unique, but at the same time, so wearable. The only complaints I've really heard about this, honestly, are people who really love Diptyque, but were just, totally thrown off by it. I've not actually heard anyone say, ooh, this smells gross. I just can't see how anyone would. I think this would be quite a, fairly easy to like fragrance, especially if you're into, warm woods and warm resins and stuff. I think it's really great for a comforting fragrance for, dark, dreary days in the autumn, winter. I think it'd be really great for that. Negative sides, it's a bit expensive, $3 per mil, and it is an EDT. I should have mentioned that earlier, but it is an EDT concentration at $3 per mil. Obviously, I think some of that price is, exclusivity, that it's only available at Diptyque stores, that it's limited edition, but $3 a mil, kind of a lot, honestly, in my opinion, for Diptyques, which usually go for about $2 per mil at the EDP concentration. A little bit more, I guess, but not $3 for EDT. If you're a huge Diptyque fan and you want like a really fresh, really transparent, really natural smelling fragrance, that's not what this is. Just be careful. I really like a lot of Diptyque fragrances, and I like this as well, but I totally recognize that this is so different than anything I've ever smelled from the house. I don't know what the availability will be for the new release or the re-release. Perhaps it will be released a bit more universal. I'm not really sure, but definitely a downside to this was you had to get it from Diptyque directly. It wasn't available in gray markets, nothing like that. Overall, I'm really happy with this fragrance, and I'm very, very happy that I have the original packaging. I really like it. I think it looks great. There's quite a lot of attention to it. Great magnetic cap. There's even this little plastic disc that comes around the sprayer, which is kind of a nice little touch. But yeah, I think it smells unique. The gray notes mixed with this warm, dry, orange citrus is just so different, so unique. So, turn it over to you. Who out there has smelled this? There's definitely, there are people out there that know this. Have you smelled the original? Have you smelled the re-release? If you've smelled both, can you compare them? Any differences? Anything you get, I'd be really interested. It's probably going to be a while before the re-release hits Canada, if it even does, but we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again soon.